Hello, guys. Welcome, everybody, to Purple A's podcast. I'm your lovely host, Isaac here. So, I intended to do this video earlier, but I had to run some rear ends. So, let's not waste any time, shall we? The Vikings will take on the Denver Broncos on Sunday Night Football at Mile High Stadium in Denver. So originally the Broncos, right as of right now, for going into this season and throughout like the first 6 games of the Denver Broncos, I'm like, oh yeah, the Vikings have it easy against the Denver Broncos. Well, that's not really so really right now. The Broncos just recently got on a 3-game winning streak, but we'll see how. But they're not to be taken lightly. Let's see how it goes. So for the Broncos defense, I mean, not really any like flashy players in like the front seven, the defensive ends, the defensive linemen, and the linebackers, but their secondary is actually pretty good. Justin Simmons, Kareem Jackson, and Patrick Surtain II. So they're almost I would say almost similar to the Saints defense, but yeah, they're pretty good. So I mean, they racked up. Okay, I mean, I heard this from another YouTuber, but the Broncos for the last 3 games have racked up 14 turnovers. So for the Vikings offense, help out Josh Dobbs by running the ball a lot, to Ty Chandler, and Ty Chandler alone. Maybe Ken Wangu, but give them the rock because they are a much more reliable running back duo than Alexander Madison is. Which I've been saying this whole entire time, so you already know, and also for basically Josh Dobbs is to do the same thing you've been doing against the Saints, efficient throwing, extending plays when you have to, just all that stuff right there. And so and I don't know if Justin Jefferson is going to return really. I do not know. It's questionable. But if he does, it's basically going still you're basically going to have a lot of wide open tight ends, wide receivers, or anybody. So it would make it a lot better on themselves, but I think they can still win otherwise. But KJ Osborne's in, by the way. He's going to be in. And also for Kevin O'Connell's play calling, you need to basically, for Kevin O'Connell, do what you've been doing in the first half. Stay aggressive. There's no reason to really just backpedal and just play conservative football. Just get after the Broncos secondary all game long because you're on national TV. I mean, they're not to be taken lightly, really, because I think they might take advantage of the Vikings secondary if that does happen. And looking at the Broncos offense, Russell Wilson has basically played the best, I mean, vintage Russell Wilson, I would say, maybe, where he can, because if not, he can throw receivers. He's a dual threat quarterback. It's basically, and then also the running backs, Javonte Williams, Sam J. Perrine, and also receivers. Jerry Jeudy has been okay, but their main threat is Cortland Sutton as a receiver. So for the Vikings defense as a whole, you got to have a spy on Russell Wilson for at least once, like a linebacker or somebody up there, because once you, because if you get caught off guard, he's going to get at least 10 yards a pop every time he wants to get outside the pocket and run it. And also, you got to be aware of the screens because the Broncos they're basically not like a deep pass team either, not an deep explosive one. If you can basically just limit the yards after catch, that would be great for Brian Flores. He's good at doing that. And so basically, and also you have to eliminate the threat of Cortland Sutton. Don't let him. You got to limit the damage on Cortland Sutton. So because Jerry Jeudy, I mean, he's been all right, but for the secondary, you might maybe need a safety help if possible, if you need to. But just not every time, but only if you need to. And also and just limit the damage because they're not a bad running team either as well. So so stop the run against Javonte Williams and Sam J. Perrine and just limit Russell Wilson's running ability. I mean, they did a good job against Jalen Hurts in week 2. So with Russell Wilson, it's almost like the Vikings defense going up against the Vikings offense. You need to counter that type of attack as best as you can. So basically for me, I mean, it's really not going to be an easy game as people see it as, because they've turned their season around a whole lot better. So as for me, I think for me, I mean, I'm going to say the Vikings do win this game. It's not going to be an easy one, but I think they do get the dub going 7-4. So Vikings get the dub. 30 final score. I'm going to say 31-23. What say you? Make sure you guys hit that like button if you guys haven't, and hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Let's see if we can get to 50 subscribers at least on this channel. Skull.